Welcome everybody to the 46 Robot Master Tournament. We have a race here between Nero X2 and Mazimov. The racers are both readied up, so this race will be getting underway very shortly. Nero was the 2nd seed and Maz was the 18th seed, so Maz actually had to win a race to get to this one. I believe it was him and Dark Terex was able to win that one, so congrats to him. Moving on, his second opponent here going to be a little bit tougher, so we'll see how he can handle himself. I think I'm being joined here today by Mr. Cab.
Morning, Chelly. How's it going?
Good morning, dude.
All right, I see them getting underway on my side.
Yeah, so Nero is going to cut. Pretty expected. And Mazimov is going to guts, so we're going to have a little bit of a route divergence here in Mega Man 1, but they should come back together in 2. Nero undoubtedly will be running Rockman 2 as well, so there'll be a little bit of difference, I'm guessing, between the actual execution and difficulty of the game choices there, but other than that, these guys should be running the exact same games, so you won't see anything too crazy different for 8 robots.
Yeah, just slightly variations on strats, and of course, Rockman 2, you're going to get those faster cutscenes. I'm not sure if Maz goes air or heat second, though I think at this point in the tournament we're seeing a whole lot of heat second.
Yeah, there's not very many people going air second anymore, so it's interesting, because I mean, even the top players can die there, but we'll see what these guys decide to do when they get there.
No worry about that big eye robot.
I think Maz does do air second, but I could be wrong on that. So, Guts First actually used to be the main route of choice, to my knowledge, until people have figured out how to do the Magnet Beam Grab RTA.
Maz having a little trouble with Guts, man, wanting to come up and give him a hug.
Yeah, Guts is kind of a jerk. You can't control, obviously, which way he jumps, so you just kind of have to work around it. Even with Bomb, that fight can be a pain.
Sometimes it's almost worse when you have bombs.
Yeah, just because bombs take forever to explode.
Nero, please.
Gets his kill finally.
Just standing there, trusting the iframes. Maz is off into Cutman now. Guts looked like he was going to give him some trouble, but did back off.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully Nero has a easier time with Elikman than we saw last night. It's Cassio and Colonel Fatso having a little trouble with these ladders.
Yeah, both runners last night were really struggling with the the climb. There's a mean stage because any mistake that causes you to fall down is really critical. Like it's big time loss. Having to reclimb these ladders is not good. Not so much the same as like a death, but I mean, not that far off from that. And Nero's not even going to go the left route, he's just going to go the right path, so.
I've had plenty of times too where you take so many attempts at making that corner jump, the 4th block has already appeared.
Well, and not only that, but even like just falling down costs you like 12 seconds, so it's a huge time loss to fall there. More so than even the other screens, because you have to wait again for the Yoku blocks, so.
Maz had a little trouble with that select jump near one of the last Suzy rooms in Cutman stage. Nothing too major. He is going to want to keep an eye on his health, especially if he has trouble with the big eye.
Nero's into the wall, he's got the beam, he's out. Pretty nice grab. A lot to do with what makes cut faster than cut first, that is, requires you to do that grab very quickly. So Nero's obviously put some time in and practiced it, so he's good to go.
Maz with a good cut fight and just waits for Cutman to jump up before throwing the second rock at him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing when you are using Guts on Cutman. He can get that jump off pretty suddenly if you don't know his patterns.
Yeah, you sort of have to predict it so that you don't miss your block. You can select pause that block as well, but Maz is into elect now. He does have the Guts weapon, so he's not going to have to worry about doing the clip into the wall.
Nero into the Elec fight. He had a really good climb through, I guess that would be the boss corridor. Shaft in this case.
Yeah. Yeah, Elec is one of the harder, longer stages of this 6 robots for Mega Man 1. So even though it looks like Maz has finished more robots at the moment, or has a bit of a lead, a lot of that has to do with the length of Elec's stage. So
let's see if Nero can manage to not get wet. Mega Man could catch a pneumonia in there.
See if he goes for this early zip. I know we saw Casio get it. He's got it. He's got the double as well. Very nice. And he's got the one for the wrap here, so this is looking really good so far for Nero. Excellent, excellent first half so far.
Yeah. Not wasting any time getting through this stage.
That double zip is actually something that's fairly new as well. Like, not very many people... I don't think anybody even has gone for it yet. Again, getting the second wrap, too.
This is insane.
What a beautiful ice stage. He's still got a beam, too, to try to get one corridor zip.
Ah.
Oh, just one maybe pixel too low. So really close. Maz also now has the beam, so he's climbing up. The bonus, really, of going cut first over Guts first is that you get the beam one stage earlier, so you'll have the beam for, like, Guts Man stage and whatnot. Makes the stage a little faster.
Yeah, beam and Guts is the true benefit of the route. Having beam to get over those platforms significantly faster than any time you might save for having Guts against Cutman. And Cutman stage is really not a lot you can do to make it faster.
Right, yeah.
Really, I guess Gutsman weapons in general, there's not much you can do faster with it. Nice early fireman zips for Nero. Little bit of an adventure here, though.
Getting those couple... Ooh, yeah, he puts that one beam too high. That again, that little second corridor one, that's something, again, you don't see very many people go for. It's one of those things where you just go for it, and if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you can't just sit there trying to get it. Like, you'll waste too much time, so...
Maz taking one hit from Elec Man, but seems to be okay. These zips from Nero.
Yeah, seriously on point. The Mega Man 1 zips are a lot harder to execute than the Mega Man 2 zips. So a lot of time save for Mega Man 1 zips is just you get them. Whereas Mega Man 2 zips, it's like the setups are what you need to do to, get them. Like, setting them up fast is where you're going to get most of your time save. But again, solid fire stage again from Nero, other than a couple little jump mistakes in the first screen. Maz is into his ice stage, so he'll be caressing over this really long water section.
He had a little bit of trouble from the little floating robots early. He's also not staying on his magnet beams as long as he could.
Right,
so yeah. Take a quick bath.
So he's trying to set it up from the floor below this screen wrap.
I think at this point he's used enough magnet. He could have just gone through the Yoku block sections.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is going to be interesting to see what he decides to do. Looks like he's going to try and do the first block section, or at least save some.
have at least 2 beams after this Yoku section that he's in right now, so hopefully he doesn't waste 2 here, because you really don't want to have to use... Okay.
Yeah.
Or only 1 beam to get to the refill in the middle. But you're right, he could be walking on his beams a little longer too, which would give him more use out of each beam as well. Oof, a little bit scary there. He should be okay there. Alright.
That's a little risky, but he's through. He's not going to stop to pick up any energy. This could get dicey with the big eye.
Yeah, he is by him, thankfully, so heading into his boss fight. Ice, obviously with the select glitch, is probably the easiest. Since Alec's weapon is such a huge hitbox, it's pretty hard to miss.
How much damage do the ice slashers do to you?
Like, I don't know what...
Like Iceman's weapon.
Oh, his weapon. It's a lot. I don't actually know if it's because it kills you in like 3 or 4 hits, right?
Yeah, it was a question there, and Nero having trouble. He's out of magnet beam, and now he has to go through the rest of this stage normally, or take a game over.
Yeah, which I think he'll just finish the stage if.
Agreed.
He may have not come up with any backup strats for this room since he just does the zip. So he's trying to bust her. An easy way to do this room actually is to freeze these enemies with ice. That way they can't shoot you and they don't keep spawning. But Nero is just going through with Buster. Clearly hasn't worked in any backup strats for this yet.
That room, just because of the exact death Nero took, just getting bounced back, no iframes on spikes, it can be a little tricky for that first section. Obviously the second half, pretty easy to just casual your way through, as it would be. So that's going to be quite the time boost for Mazimov to try and get some time back. Nero's been crushing really every zip in his face except that one, and the bomb zip's a pretty big time savings.
Yep. But Nero does only have 1 stage to go. And then he'll be off to Rockman 2.
Good fire zip from Maz.
Yeah, he's not going for any corridor zips, so he's just going to quickly switch to ice here. Get his... Ooh, Nero has to sort of backtrack. Oh, and he takes the death. I think he didn't like how his beams were set up there, maybe a little bit too high.
They have to be the right height, otherwise they're too high. Mega Man can't actually stand on them, and you won't have enough screen left to make it across the gap.
Yeah, he's got it this time, so...
Maz, meanwhile, through Fireman.
Yeah, just 1 stage to go for him as well, so... A little bit closer than we might even have thought for even just the start of the race, which is pretty cool. Maz is holding his own here a little bit.
Gutsman, somewhat unfortunate for Maz, fortunate for Nero, really short stage. Even without the magnets.
Yeah, he's already into the last screen, so it's not much to do left there. Nero saving those beams so he can go for a couple corridor zips. We'll see if he can get them. He's got 1. He's got 2. Very nice corridor.
Let's see, we were talking about how hard is this fight with or without bombs.
Okay, Guts gave him an okay pattern there, so he's able to get the kill and the orb with the ass grab.
As predicted, Rockman 2. Welcome to difficult mode.
Yeah, Rockman 2 only had difficult. There was no normal settings, so... Like Cab mentioned earlier, the main benefit of doing this, as opposed to normal on the NES, is the weapon get screens in Japanese are a lot shorter than they are in English, so... Dr. Light stutters a lot in Mega Man 2. Speaks very clearly in Rockman 2, so weapon gets are faster.
Maz finding this pixel for the bomb zip.
Let's see, looks like he's good here.
He won't be too far behind. It seems to be the trend throughout the tournament. People who go for Guts first tend to be a stage behind going into Mega Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
The last select glitch we'll see for this match.
Yeah, bomb is down, so heading into Mega Man 2, and these guys are both going to be in the same stage for a little while, so...
Really nice flash fight. I love the slide underneath Flashman.
Almost, well, yeah, it was still a good fight. The difficult fight is always much flashier than the normal fight, no pun intended. Like, seriously, the slide
intended.
underneath the hop is really cool.
Flashman, of course, jumping every time.
Yeah.
So yeah, the entire fight kind of strategized around shooting Flashmans, knowing when he's going to jump. On difficult,
Yeah.
He takes too many hits to just kind of stay against the left wall and take him out, so you need some strategy.
Yeah, and you can kill him before he flashes there. Like, Nero technically got flashed, but it's such a minor thing, like, it's not a huge time loss at all. In an RTA setting when you're grinding for like a 26, obviously it is, but in this case scenario, that's still a really good fight, so... So Nero is going heat second, so we will see a tiny route divergence between these two guys once we see Maz get through his flash.
Good fight. Yeah, his splits do say Airman next.
Yeah.
Good placement for that item 3.
Yeah, he's in, he's zipped, and he's out. So that's what we're talking about, is in Mega Man 2, a lot of it comes down to your setup. Setting up the zips is very important. Ooh! Doesn't quite get his jump off, though. He does have enough item 3, he can do the zip again, though, so...
Oh, he's got to despawn that fast.
Ooh, yeah, unfortunately throwing that a little too high. So the biggest downside for Nero here is actually that his life situation is going to be a little low. He's going to want to grab a 1-up somewhere now that he's taken a death, because there is 2 death warps planned.
He just barely got into the ceiling. Like, Mega Man shot up and item 3 just immediately despawned.
Yeah, he would have had to do that section like the zipless way, but without the item 2, so it would have been kind of slow without that zip there. Or he would have had to farm, which is kind of risky.
Even in a zipless route of this game, you use item 3 unless you're LO.
Yeah.
It's really useful for climbing up those pillars, but he is through. As meanwhile on the cloud platforms.
Heatman is sort of more annoying in difficult mode because you have to hit him twice as many times. His pattern is still the same, nothing's different about it. But there's twice as much RNG, basically, so there's a potential to lose up to 14 seconds in this fight instead of 7. But Nero getting sort of a, I'd say, average to above average pattern. You got a lot of 30s in that fight, so it's some pretty good luck.
Maz, meanwhile, a lot of the time savings, you can still save time without item 1 in this stage if you go for the super jump, and he did get it. Saves about 3 seconds. Compared to, I think, fast air is 7 or 8 seconds over just riding the platforms normally.
Yeah, really well executed. Fast air saves a decent amount of time there. So Nero is off to air, so he'll be doing the item 1s over that screen where you saw Maz riding the platforms. Ooh, not quite getting the 2 cycle there, but
good enough.
Get his kill really quick there.
Alright, here we go.
Gets the favorable knockback to the right.
Manages to stay on that cloud.
Yeah, leg and knockback in Mega Man 2 are kind of weird. Gets the good bird manipulation. Like, having more leg when you take a hit actually can extend your knockback in this game, obviously, so it can be kind of scary in some of the leggier sections when you take a hit if you're over top of a long, or over top of a pit or spikes or something.
Nero wants no part of that large energy drop.
Yeah, trying
See
to
if the
avoid
gamble
drops.
pays. Well, avoiding drops is generally good for time. In the race situation, worth keeping in mind, Airman, not exactly the kindest boss.
Yeah, he's got enough health for the fight. He wants to have probably at least 9, preferably 13 for this fight, just in case it goes a little sour. But see the pattern Air gives him.
Taking a little bit of damage, but looks like he's going to be okay.
Yeah, the one hit there is actually intentional to reset the knock back from the air shooters, so you can see that a little bit. Sort of some of those planned deboosts. We'll be seeing a lot of those in Mega Man 3 as well. So Nero's got all his items now, so it's just a matter of getting through the stages, using those to his advantage for zips and whatnot. Are we going to see Biggie special? We're about to find out.
Hopefully.
See what kind of setup Nero uses for his Crashman zip. Yep, he's doing Biggie. And he's got it, it looks like. Yeah, really good. Excellent.
Nice.
The Biggie setup saves quite a bit of time, actually, so well worth it. Using that heat to quickly respawn. So reminder again, Nero is now on his last life because he took that death earlier. So he has to potentially remember that. Hopefully he can pick one up in quick, so hopefully he'll remember just to do it there. Let's see what kind of flash crime he has here.
It started pretty well. He did miss the one.
Yeah, he's got it again though, so he should be able to recover. Yeah, I figured he would grab the one in quick instead of that one there, because you're already on item 3 here. It's kind of more awkward.
Yeah.
Maz setting up the second screen zip, so it's a little bit slower, but works pretty well also.
Pretty good second screen setup. He did use an extra item 1 maybe on the first screen. He did get him up a ladder a little faster, so maybe it's not that bad. Anything that gets you to the zip quick, as it would be.
So here we go. Hopefully he remembers to grab it. It's right here. There's also a 1-up in the fall of the beams, which he can grab as well. Which, hopefully, he's not grabbing this one, so hopefully he grabs that one. It actually is faster to grab the one in the beams.
The way he switched to item 1, he faked me out a little bit.
Yeah. I think he'll probably grab the one in the beam. If he doesn't grab that one, then he will not be able to do the good wood zip unless he grabs one in metal or takes a game over. So
Nero's not afraid of the dark. Always a little bit of a clench moment when someone's in the dark.
So you have to use Time Stopper here because you have to screen wrap back, and if you don't, you won't have the ability to avoid the beams. Here comes the 1-up. We'll see if he gets it. Yep, he's grabbed it. Very nice.
Crashman down for Maz. Nero has item 1 out, doesn't he?
He does, so here comes the potential soft lock zip. Menued really early there, so has to wiggle quite a lot, but he is into the door, so...
Nice. He does need to hit with all 7 crash bombs, or at least gets these explosions to hit.
Ooh, he misses, so...
Quick man, too sly. Or
he's
is
gonna have
he?
to do... There he goes, he's got it. Kind of a scary fight there.
Yeah, look at that. 4 hit points left.
Yeah, 1 hit away.
Would have had to go back and do a buster fight.
So Maz falling in, setting up the first zip here in quick.
He's got his setup. He's
Turning the lights back on.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can kind of see the screen wrap here that I talked about. You see he's going through platforms. It's because he's actually on a screen that it looks like he's on a different screen. Here he'll screen wrap right here and get back onto the normal screen here. So everything should look normal again.
Nero's through the first screen of Metal Man, the single longest horizontal zip in the game.
Not even bothering to go for the half-second zip.
Yeah. Maz, meanwhile, doesn't go for the gate crash zip in Quick Man. He just wants to get in there, move on.
Gets a very nice pattern from Quick, although he just has his crash bomb go through Quick Man, shooting it maybe a tad early there.
Nero with the 1 metal blade being thrown at him. Hit B a little late.
No, that's the intended fight, actually, for difficult. You can't kill metal without him jumping in difficult. He'll get a jump off no matter what, because it's based off a timer as well. So what the runners do to prevent that is they start the fight with a B press to start Metal Man with a jump, and then they react to hit. They react to dodging the metal blades as they're moving towards him, so that they don't have to worry about dodging while they're shooting him. So it's a little subtle thing about that fight that's different from the normal fight that you'll see Mazimov do here shortly. And we thought there Nero might change and do dog scrolls, but no, he's just gonna flash the rooms. Gets the nice little extra zip too, so he should be fine getting all the way through.
The mini zip. Maz had that 1 early turn back in the first half of Metal Man stage. Nothing else really going wrong, he's in. Nero into good wood, though.
So yeah, we see the normal fight on metal, much easier.
Nero through the hardest part, I think, of Goodwood, the little ladder zip where you have to pause midway through. He's switched to heat, and it looks like he's got good wood.
Yeah, very nice. It's actually faster to kill air or wood with air in this version in difficult, so you'll see him switch to air here and put the air shooters through the shield. The reason this is faster is because on difficult you have to hit him with 2 fully charged heat shots, which is really slow, whereas air shooter can go right through the shield, so it kills him really fast.
Yeah, you won't be able to get the second full charged heat shot off before the leaf shield is back up.
Mm-hmm.
So Nero gonna probably take the item 2 ride. Maz is not gonna go for the flash for all 3 dogs. He's just gonna take out the first one with a full charge heat shot. Does remember to switch off of heat before going through the ammo drop there. Don't want to get slowed down by that.
Nero with a very nice manipulation on those frogs to get as little lag as possible there.
Here goes Maz into good wood. The hardest jump in the game.
Nailed it. Nero going for the A trigger. It's a little bit safer. Don't have to worry about going a little early and hitting the spikes. Maz also looking like he's hopefully going to get through this good wood. Make sure all he has to do now is make sure he jumps to kill himself here in the right spot. Yep, he's good.
I looked a little close to being early, but he was in a good spot.
Yeah.
Maz doing the heat fight. Well, Nero takes out his last robot master in a moment here. Scaring me with that high jump.
And Bubbles down.
Still one stage behind. The Maz is putting forward a pretty good run for the strats he's executing on.
So we see a magnet first from Nero. We'll see. I think they're both doing the same route, right?
Yeah, it's hard to see his splits through the bitrate falls here, but I think I'm reading Magnet Man.
I think so, yeah. So we'll see the same route for Mega Man 3 as well, so we'll be able to easily tell. So Magna First is the newest of, well, technically I guess the Top First route that is used now is newer than the Magna First route because it is different from the old Top First route, but it's one of the newer routes that wasn't really around for a long time until Fasta came on the scene and sort of pioneered it. It's definitely, in my opinion, the safest choice for a race route. It's the most consistent route when it comes to safety.
I still kind of stand by
Top First in this tournament too.
I stand by Magnet First was the old casual route as well that I grew up with. A lot of people, I think, grew up with Magnet First. And
yeah, that's what I've heard. I was a Snake boy.
I think there's something to the casual routes. Like, you can't just discard them just because you're speedrunning all the time. There's usually a method to that madness. Nice jump over Magnet Man's head there to cancel the shield.
Yeah, kind of an unfavorable pattern there from Magnet. A lot of jumps, but he is down, so...
Hard man first. Chat, please. What would you say the difficulty of that route is?
Of hard first? As long as you deboost off his fists, it shouldn't be too bad. The fight itself, I mean.
I'll be honest, I was trying to set you up to say pretty hard. Either way, Nero's killing bees now, so that's good.
Yeah, he's got Magnet, which makes killing the first two bees really easy. Second one, or the third one's a little trickier. You gotta coil up, but he gets it very nice. Hardman stage is actually the unique stage of this category. It's the only 8 Robot Master stage that does not have any pits or spikes. So, taking a death here basically means you took just a lot of damage based on just enemy hits. The stage is basically designed to try to wear you down more than it is to insta-kill you. Get some pretty nice dozer hitboxes, thankfully. Those dozers can be pretty mean and reflect your shots. Meanwhile, Maz is into his magnet fight. He's getting a lot of shields here. He can't take any more hits, unfortunately, so he's electing to just wait this pattern out. Hopefully he can get his kill here, right here. Alright, good.
Nice. Nero, meanwhile, through the gate into Hardman. Plenty of magnet ammo left.
Yeah, you only kill the first 2 bees in the first screen on purpose so that you have enough magnet for this fight still. Taking the hit on purpose from the bottom of Hardman's hitbox will knock you out of the stun because you get hit a second time. So you do need to have at least 13 HP to survive that fight. And Nero had plenty of health, so he didn't have to worry about that at all. The nice thing about only killing the first 2 bees as well is you have like that extra buffer magnet. Like you saw, he had 1 shot left, so it's a nice little buffer in case you do make a mistake in the fight and shoot one into his iframes. Mazimov is just going to despawn that last bee instead of switching to do the coil strat, so...
Did have to turn back a second time there.
Yeah, the bees take a little longer to despawn than you sometimes think. You can't just take them off the screen, you gotta like go off the screen for like a little bit before they actually sort of disappear. So... Nero's struggling to get his jumps up these stairs, taking a couple extra hits. It's actually kind of tricky to do those jump mashes on the stairs there, on that room.
That stair top guy's always been a thorn in my side.
Yeah, we've seen a few runners just elect to not even kill him and just deboost through him. I know we saw Fatso do that last night. Seen a couple other people do it too.
That's what I usually do. Of course, I also end up grabbing the large health at the end of the stage because I'm bad at video games, so... I might not have the best of strats.
Nero has some pretty decent cats. Obviously, the cats with Magnet are a lot better than with Buster, since you only have to hit them 5 times instead of 10. Magnet does double the damage, so... And the Magnets will track as well, so it makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to be jumping up at his level to hit him with it.
Nero with that top jump.
I think he maybe wanted to go for it and then changed his mind, so...
Well, after what happened to him on the first one, maybe that's the intended route all the same, but... You know what? Just get in that boss door. You have a stage lead. 2 seconds is not going to lose the race right now.
Mazimov having a slightly, looks like, safer fight, trying to avoid some damage there, but you see he got frozen, and he kills Hardman in the corner, which is slower than killing him in the middle as well, so... It's a... I don't know if that's his normal fight there, but it's a little bit slower than the standard fight.
Maz keeping the pressure up.
Yeah, he hasn't fallen like incredibly far behind or anything. Like both through Mega Man 1 and Mega Man 2, he's stayed within, that stage. This is the first sort of gap where we've seen that's finally hit like a full stage. So it's not like he's, completely out of it.
Yeah, especially given, slight variations in the length of stages.
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting a lot of lag to open up Top Man.
Nero having another nice proto fight. Going into the dark room now. This is a pretty interesting fight, although he's having a few issues with it, getting hit a couple times more than he would like.
We were just talking about it. Maz did damage boost through the I want to call him the Top Man at the top of the stairs.
Again, taking another hit. Thankfully, with the magnet first route, is you have magnets for this room, making the Parasy screen a lot easier. So hopefully Nero doesn't have any issues. He's even got a couple health drops here now, so he should be perfectly fine in the shadow fight. There's no real danger here.
Yeah, the danger was jumping through those health drops.
Maz's health on the other hand is a little low.
There's a health drop on the next screen.
He has enough health to do the fight, so he doesn't need this health drop, but he'll probably grab it. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
The tops from Top Man only deal 4 damage, so he had enough health. He didn't actually need it if he did the fight correctly. But, safe. Better to be safe than sorry. And electing to just wait for the top as well, so...
I like that split name he's got going for Gemini Man. think we were supposed to have a family-friendly stream, so I won't say it, but it doesn't say top. Or a Gemini, I should say.
Ooh. So again, not getting to the middle of the room there, unfortunately, but he does survive with 4 health, so. Nero into the hardest of the 8 robots for sure. Gemini has always been a challenge, no matter what route you do. There's no getting around it. There's just some really difficult screens in this stage. Room 1 is obviously one of them, and the single block room, the checkpoint room, is also another one.
Gets a good zip, though.
Yeah, nice setup there for the zip.
The Mega Man 3 zip.
Yeah, zips are pretty rare to find once you get out of Mega Man 2. That's the only one you're going to see in 3. And there's only really one that you'll probably see in 4. And you won't see any in 5, because...
I missed it.
Oh! So he cut a jump just a hair short there. You want to try to land on these blocks as close to the left edge of those single blocks as possible, so that you can jump out of your slide easily. Nero's not going to bother with Marines, so he's going through this room with the music, which is much laggier. So, I don't know how often he's done this screen with music or not, but it's pretty terrible in comparison. But it looks like he's had some backup strats planned, because he did fire that Shadow Blade so that the return fire would hit that Dragonfly, so that was really nice. Oh! Shoes, please.
Maz having a little trouble from the parachute guys here. Does just double back and take his time. Obviously don't want the death at all.
Yeah, not sliding there makes that room really easy with magnets. Nero gets a pretty nice Gemini fight here, it looks like.
Really nice.
Very, very nice.
I'm not perfectly familiar with how many times you can hit the second Gemini Man double when he's all alone. But he manages to not soft lock, so he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, you should never soft lock doing the fight that way. There's not really any way to do it as long as you execute the fight that way, specifically.
I think there are a few people who have actually managed to soft lock with the Shadow Blades, but
that's based on them hitting the one in the air too many times. Like, if you do it the way he was doing it, where you rotate back and forth between the one in the air and the one on the ground back and forth, you should never soft lock. Because they both have a set amount of HP, so as long as you're going back and forth between the two, they should never get low enough that one of them would die before the other to that point.
Yeah, just as extra hits on the ground. You can study that fight later, though.
Yeah, a lot of the soft locks, when you see a soft lock, a lot of it comes down to you kill the one on the ground first, and then you accidentally kill the one in the air before he gets to the ground and transitions to the next phase. So as long as you don't do that, you should never ever see a soft lock there. Maz doesn't quite have enough magnets, so he's getting some extra lag here for not being able to kill that penguin. Very nice needle stage there from Nero. See how his fight goes. Doesn't quite get the best pattern, but he doesn't get the worst pattern either, so...
Nero not an Adua fan, but that's a good thing here. Maz, meanwhile, making his way to that block section of Gemini Man stage that really nobody likes.
I can't see how they would share the same pool, because if they shared the same HP pool, they would both die when the one would hit a certain level. They have to have individual HP values.
Maz showing off the screen wrap for the E-Tank grab in the first part of the stage. Gets the second one at the end, just to be sure. While Nero is jetting through Snake Man stage. Maz doesn't go with the setup can fire 2 shots, whether they're Buster shots or Shadow Blade shots, off the side of the screen from that ladder, and that will get you set up to be able to do a slide jump over the big hopper robot down there.
Maz is not electing to even try to dodge Gemini Man. He's just tanking through the hits, so he's going to have to E-tank.
Does get through the fight. Gemini Man just not an easy fight, really.
Yo, Nero with the gap jump.
It's a testament to Nero's skill, how easy he made it look.
Yeah, the gap jump's not really a huge time saver, but it's nice when you can get it.
Oh, I meant the Gemini fight.
Oh, you said Nero, so I thought you were talking about his snake gap jump.
I mean, the gap jump still impressive. Damn it, Kyle.
This room here. Ooh, Nero spawns that 7-leg frame Cloud. Probably gonna get this one too. Oh, no, he avoided the second one. Costing him some frames there. Ooh, gets the worst pattern, unfortunately, from Snake.
Ooh, yes.
But he does fight it a little bit differently, too, so that actually might end up being not the worst pattern for him, just the way he executes the fight.
He did get on both centered and, yeah, just centered, I guess, really. I'm thinking too much like Mega Man 2 when he's on the high platform.
Yeah, executing the fight that way actually probably makes that pattern to be the second best. There's another way to execute the fight that's a little bit different, where that pattern is the worst.
Yeah, even with that death in Gemini, Nero is growing this lead to 2 stages pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think you're going to start to see the gap widen as you get into the sliding Mega Mans. The room for error is larger in the sliding Mega Man games. The skill cap on execution when it comes to slides and keeping your slide chains, very good, starts to become a little bit larger.
Chat spamming the Gemini lasers in honor of Maz's Needleman fight. He only had the one, though, so it wasn't too bad. Nero in the room where the speed strat really is significantly easier than any casual strat you can come up with outside of Rush Jet.
Yeah, and he's through. Spark stage is a lot shorter than Snake's, so you'll see the gap looks pretty big right now, but you got to keep that in mind a little bit.
Maz with some magnet strats to open Snake Man stage.
For 8 robots, it doesn't matter a whole lot, but if that was an RTA setting, that would have actually been the best pattern from Spark as well. So Nero's off to Mega Man 4. Notoriously, so far throughout the tournament, this has been a little bit of his Achilles heel, so I don't know how much time he's been putting into 4 recently, but I know he's going to want to be playing this game really well, because being that we're in a single elimination tournament at this point now,
yeah,
anywhere could be your last, even for a really good runner, so.
Well, still, Maz has an entire stage ahead of the end of Snake Man stage in Mega Man 3, and Nero, I mean, you'd expect it a little bit from a 2 seed against an 18 seed in a tournament like this, but Nero just having better times all around. So we'll see if Maz can make any time back in Mega Man 4. Hopefully he can push a little harder here. But, we want to see a good run from Nero as well.
Maz also getting those laggy cloud platforms. You can see them spawning at the bottom there. That's because he's jumping at the wrong time, and he's screen wrapping and spawning them from the bottom, so they cause extra lag there, so you kind of want to make sure your jumps are in the right location so you don't spawn those. He's getting a... well, I would say normally that's an average pattern, but the way he fought it is kind of not as good, because then you're not near the middle.
Yep, being centered in all these games after Mega Man 2. Well, really, Mega Man 3 is the only one you can't move and want to be centered.
Yeah. Yeah, for this category, for sure. So into the Bright Man fight. We'll make sure, hopefully, that Nero doesn't get flashed here. It's not random. It's based on his execution, so as long as he does the fight correctly, we should not see a flash from Bright. And he's done it now. It's just a matter of only firing charge shots, and he won't get one.
Nice.
So, decent fight there. Maz taking a little bit of extra care on some of those jumps there, trying to make sure he doesn't fall into those pits, because that's the last sort of place you can die before hitting the checkpoint.
Yeah, I love that booster just right into the Met Dozer like he doesn't care.
So Nero's into Pharaoh now. He has Flash Stopper, which makes this first room incredibly easy. Just flash and slide.
Basically cheating.
It makes the jump a lot easier as well, so hopefully he can make this balloon, the jump over to get the balloon, because he's going to want to have the balloon for Ring and Skull.
Never noticed how similar the Bright color scheme and the Shadow color scheme are. See two purple Mega Men on screen right now.
Yeah, they're very, very similar. Spark is down, so Maz is off to 4. Still, honestly, really, still a lot closer, I think, than we expected this race to be, even at this point, so Maz is really hanging in there, doing a really good job. Some of these longer sections, too, of Bright and Pharaoh, because you're waiting on platforms or, like, the grasshoppers. Taking a death in these screens is not really ideal, because you're just opening yourself up to more RNG time loss, and having to redo these long wait periods where you have to wait for the hoppers, so... These first couple stages are pretty important to execute them, well enough so that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure everyone here knows by now, you want to use the Buster on Pharaoh, even if you have his weakness in Bright. It's just that much faster to fire these charge shots than to sit there and mash. Of course, you want to be in Pharaoh Man's face. Don't run away from him. Don't let him jump at you firing these hard-to-avoid shots. Just get in front of him.
Yeah, Nero was really struggling there. He wasn't doing the manipulation quite right, so I'm not sure if he maybe just doesn't know where to stand for that fight, but...
And watching it again on the replay, he didn't get that far away. Didn't feel like he didn't get Pharaoh Man to stand still.
Close. You gotta be pretty close.
Yeah.
Like, even 3 tiles is too far away. So, you have to be pretty close to Pharaoh to make the manipulation work. So, seeing now why the balloon is useful. Maz also going to be getting some extra lag here because he's charging in this last room. You don't want to be charging in that room. So that costs him some time as well. Sort of some of that invisible time, because you don't actually see how much slower sometimes that room is going when you have that charge.
Just holding a charge in Mega Man 4, just like some of the Game Boy games, you just lag the game an awful lot, purely through charging.
He also didn't bring a charge with him into the fight after that, so he lost about 90 frames.
Did he hit him with another lemon?
He started with a lemon, yeah.
No, a second one now.
Oh, we'll see. I didn't watch too closely. Yeah, he must have.
Yeah.
Taking this body hit, which is pretty punishing.
He's gonna have to do something here.
He should be fine as long as he obviously doesn't hit. Oof, kind of scary there.
Any Brightman fight you can walk away from.
So meanwhile, Nero heading through Ring. Ring stage is routed in a way that you typically don't have very much HP by the end of it. So the fight always can be a little bit nerve-wracking. But the fight is really consistent. There's zero randomness to it. It's the exact same every single time. So as long as you execute it correctly, there's really no danger.
He picks up that small health drop, but it's not going to buy him anything. He's still going into the ring fight with 4 hit points, so anything Ringman can do to him will kill him.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he gets all the 5 hits in very fast. It's that extra hit. Shot, I should say.
Ooh, doesn't quite get the manipulation either, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful here. Play the fight extra careful.
While he was sliding
slow.
over, you can see that extra orange being fired down off the screen. So that's what happened to his charge, so he just didn't have one ready when he got over there. So rather than basically needlessly go in there, he made other choices, but that affected how the rest of the fight played out. Maz, meanwhile, missed that balloon jump.
Yeah. So hopefully he knows, okay, good, to switch to Buster here. You do not want to flash this room, otherwise the platforms won't move, so...
Oh. Don't think I knew that.
Yeah. You'll freeze the bats, but unfortunately you'll freeze the platforms as well, so...
Nero using Bright for Dustman.
Yeah, it's a lot easier, a lot safer. And with the jump he got from the Stomper, it's pretty much on pace with Pharaoh shots, so... For Pharaoh shot strats to actually be faster, you do need some good RNG from the Stomper.
Maz is through to Pharaoh Man now as Nero goes into the Crusher with Ring. Has a little bit of bad luck there.
Oh yeah, I didn't quite manipulate his ring correctly. As easy as it looks, you do have to manipulate the ring. Like, the runners have to do their jumps correctly to make the ring go where they want it to go. And he just didn't really do that.
Maz actually having a lot of trouble with Pharaoh here. Might be...
Oh, he didn't jump.
About to say, might be well served to just get out Bright if he's having this much trouble with the fight. I guess Pharaoh was not really weak enough to warrant kind of taking the safe way out. Is that his first unintentional death?
In the entire run so far?
Yeah.
No, he died somewhere in 3, I think. I don't remember which stage it was, but I think he did.
And again, he's just not getting close enough to Pharaoh Man to scare him.
Yeah.
I didn't really see Nero's dust fight at all, but he's obviously moving on to Skullman stage now. Hopefully we get to see a balloon zip here.
Yeah, there's a really short zip at the beginning of Skull. Saves about 2.5 to 3 seconds. He's setting it up now. It's a pretty easy one. You just wait for the enemy to get to a certain spot, and then you fire your balloon and get in the corner. And when you take damage, the game doesn't know where to put you, so it just pushes you out to the right. It's a really, really minor time save, but it is one.
Maz, of course, doesn't have balloons, so he's using Bright in these first few screens of Ring. Makes it that much easier to navigate through these Saturns and cannons.
It's interesting to note, especially in that last room there where Nero was doing a bunch of slides, he was doing a bunch of neutral slides. You could actually see his movement stop every time he came out of his slide. That's not actually ideal. You're losing frames every time you come out of your slide if you don't get a frame-perfect slide that way. So you want to be holding the right arrow as you're moving to like the right and sliding. just his movement was looking a lot like the Mega Man 6 movement, just based on that. Maz wasn't quite in the corner, so he did get hit by that ring mini-boss. If you're in the exact far corner there, you can avoid taking damage from him, but...
Maz has paid off Skullman, because that shield lasted an awful long time on Nero.
Yeah, that looked like pretty close to the maximum length. Skull fight itself is identical every time, the only difference being that the length of his shield can be longer or shorter based on whatever he decides to do. It's just random.
What? Oh,
so
he selected drill.
He went to drill, so it looks like he's just gonna reload the game and password back, I guess.
That moment in the middle of the race when you have to look up what the last password was?
That's a real shame, too, because this is actually more costly than just playing through drill stage.
There's a question of how fast is the drill fight itself without dives. Maz getting rung up.
The drill fight is actually not nearly as bad as you might think. You can fight him with Pharaoh again, similar to Bright. You can actually hit him before he even gets a dive at the very beginning of the fight if you get the two-framer, slide, and jump to the middle of the room. But that's kind of tricky, and he might not know about that. I know the new task does that.
Maz had Ringman walk through Mega Man just as that Pharaoh charge appeared over his head. Kind of jumped around wondering why the orb wasn't appearing before he kind of realized what happened and reset the charge.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, quite a lot of time loss there for Nero based on just that miss menu.
And he does give him an E-Tank. Really though, his Mega Man 4 not going too bad at all. If that's the worst thing that happens, well, it won't at least be a gameplay issue. That was his Achilles heel. Really glad he didn't fall on the spikes right after I said that.
Quite getting that one jump there on that second whale, but Maz taking a death in dust, probably just to get rid of his life situation.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, I think it was intentional.
Yeah, probably. You don't want to end up in a situation where you die in the Crusher, or really anything in the next few stages. Skullman stage has a couple of tricky jumps near the end. It's just easier to reset the life count now.
Yeah, exactly. Nero taking a lot of hits in that Dive Man fight, but he had enough health. And gets the animation skip. So very nice.
Very nice.
Maz does get out of the laggiest room in the game.
He's gonna go Buster Strats in the Crusher room. The charge shot will go through a lot of them, but then you do need the lemons to get through one block at a time.
Yeah, I mean, people know how Buster works, so sometimes people prefer it. The ring, like I said, can be kind of a pain to manipulate. He's going a little bit extra mile here, taking it extra careful, moving some more blocks than he really needed to.
Yeah, just kind of played it very safe there.
Again, killing the gumball machine. It's a little bit slower to do that because they've got like 12 health. Even mashing really hard is typically slower than just taking a D boost in a lot of those scenarios with Buster. Ring, on the other hand, can kill him in 2 rings, so it's a pretty good strat when you're using Ring already in the Crusher.
4 hits across 2 rings. Really not a bad idea when you get there to just... That's a good place where I switch to Ring usually. So you're gonna have to do it eventually anyway.
Yeah, and you don't need very many. You only need 7 to kill Dust, so it's not like there's a real danger of running out at that point.
Yeah,
He can still take one more hit here if he wants, but it looks like he's playing safe.
Does he?
He does, yeah, he's got 9. The Met in front, like the second last screen there, he only does 3 damage, so typically you're always left with 1 extra HP sort of off, like an odd number kind of thing. So he had 9 there.
Oh, here's the real Dive Man fight on the left side of your screens.
Yeah, Nero getting a pretty decent pattern so far. We'll see. Yep. Yeah, no extra dives. He does die in the corner, unfortunately, but sometimes it's hard to manipulate that. He could have been standing a little closer to the middle of the room to try to manipulate, drill back to the center a little bit better, but again, it's not much you can do.
So the lead is opened up to 3 stages now.
Yeah, and Maz is bustering this first room, which is a little laggier than just doing the flash stopper strats from the beginning. So he's going to cost himself a little bit of time there. But if he's not comfortable with how much he uses in the second half, maybe he's worried he's going to run out by the end. Here comes the change now.
And Maz now.
Sure. Nero's into Toad now. There's a lot of little things in this stage that you got to be careful of. You got the rain pushing you back. You've got the waterfalls pulling you forward and back. So the runners have to be a little bit careful that they don't get accidental death here. Thankfully, with the little tricky things with this stage, at least the boss fight is really easy. So it's sort of like your reward for getting through the game. Nero about to drop into these snail mini-bosses. They can be skipped if you flash them before they activate. So he gets the first one very nicely. He's got another one coming up right here, which looks a little scarier because of the waterfalls in the pit, but it's just as easy as the first one.
Looks like we have a good skull fight from Maz. Except for this one last shield, please.
Yeah, he unfortunately doesn't get his 4 hits in on the second half of the fight, so gets a second shield pattern. You shouldn't ever see a second shield there, but...
Oh, Toad Man. Really, once you walk in that gate, players of this skill level, it's already over. You might as well just go to Mega Man 5 almost.
Yeah, so he is dead, and he is off to 5. You're always going to get some delay. I mean, we're watching multi-Twitch, so...
It doesn't matter which stream service you're watching, there's going to be delay.
There's going to be delay. So people are just going to have to get over it.
Pretty much.
Again, Maz not using flash at the beginning of dives, so he's trying to save some for later, but he's taking a lot of extra hits here.
This would be one of the main screens I would say use bright on.
Yeah, this is a really important stage, especially this first room. You see all of the enemies moving, creating quite a bit of lag.
Oh, Maz, please. I think he was still holding down.
He walked off the edge. He must have hit his A button just a little early, and so he didn't get the trigger to jump.
I'm gonna look at it again on the delay here. Yeah, he just didn't jump.
So going through here again with Buster, costing him more precious seconds. Nero only getting the single pooper scooper. Haven't seen very many double pooper scoopers, I don't think, in the tournament. I asked Baron last night if he had gotten any, and I think he said he thinks he's gotten 1, so it's been a pretty rare thing to see.
E-Tank from Eddie from Maz.
Star goes down.
these bright strats near the end here, trying to get through with as little damage as possible. Does let the whale, I guess, materialize before starting to pummel him.
Yeah, some people prefer to let the whale fall lower. They find that easier, doing small jumps. And that is faster than freezing him higher if you can't one-jump him. So
he had the hit points, and he could have slid into that mine and kept going, but just can't let go of A fast enough there. So he's gonna have to fight the whale again. Looks like Dive Man is gonna cost Maz a whole lot of time here.
yeah, and he doesn't have any flash stopper left, so he is going to have to either finish the stage with Buster or come up with some other form of strat.
Looks like he has 3 extra lives still, so he has picked up enough Mega Man 5 references to be okay. Well, now he's taking too much damage. He needs to not get hit.
He should be fine here as long as he goes over. Yeah. And this last room is easy. You just slide, 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 slide. So, meanwhile, Nero's into gravity. We go to Star first in 5 to get the super arrow so that we can use it throughout the other stages. You saw him earlier in this stage already go through his entire arrow bar.
Arrow really
utilizing arrow everywhere.
One of the fastest weapons you can have in these games. Maz working on Dive Man. I thought he was a little far away for some of those cycles, but he gets through Dive Man just fine. Gravity Man fight for Nero, scripted every time, should look exactly the same. No trouble there either.
So Maz is off the drill. We'll see what kind of pattern he gets from Drillman. When he gets there, Nero had gotten the 0 dive pattern, so really, really solid.
Let's see how these gyro super arrows start going for Nero.
So you're going to see Nero do something here. He's running off the edge of the arrow. That actually does conserve a little bit of ammo. The way arrow works is when you fire it, it consumes 2 ammo, and then for every 5 frames you stand on the arrow, it consumes another ammo. So if you can slide off the edge of the arrow, you're essentially falling off the arrow, and the arrow is picking you back up, and that allows you to stay off the arrow a little bit so that you save some ammunition. So that gives him that 1 extra ammo to use in the next room as opposed to running out.
Nice slide under those falling enemies.
Yeah, it's a little tricky to get under a couple of those guys.
Maz wants the E-Tank. I missed him using one. I thought he got one from Eddie earlier.
Coming into this last room, he's got lots of flash stopper left due to some drops and whatnot, so shouldn't have any danger of running out.
Maz taking his time using the flash stopper in the last screen of drill.
Firing a couple leg bolts there. He didn't really know where it was going to wear off, so he was just trying to mash B to re-freeze the screen.
Good gyro fight. Maz taking a lot of hits. He did get that E-Tank. He's not going to use it yet.
He used
not
it
even
already.
going to... Oh, he did?
Yeah, he used it outside the boss.
Oh
in
my
the corridor. So yeah, kind of struggling with this boss fight.
So Nero setting up the crystal warp. Needs to get under 4 hit points.
think Maz is struggling a little bit with this fight just based on his buffer jumps are a little off, so he doesn't really know when Drill is going to come out of the ground. So you can see him now going into like sort of casual mode, just sliding around. So in that regard, he's going to get a lot of extra dives because he's further away from Drill Man, so he's going to get the extra dives. Nero on the other side doing the Crystal Warp. You see him doing that slight tiny lag reduction time save strat of actually killing the one ball and cup enemy so that there's just the one walking back and forth. Very minimal, saves a few frames. Drill finally does go down for Maz, so
That sprite overload. So let's see how he handles the crystal fight here. Want to get hit by a couple of these crystals, some of them with iframes, just to get rid of their lag.
yeah, you don't want to have those 4 crystal eyes bouncing around the room, and trying to dodge them alone is kind of hard already, and then them bouncing around the room is so laggy. So you want to take the hit on purpose and then try to eat up at least 1 more, if not 2 more, so there's only 1 or at worst 2 bouncing around the room.
So Maz seeing some movement from enemies at the end of that first screen in Toad. I don't think we actually really talked about too much how the flash stopper in 4 has its timer that doesn't really run while you're sliding. So as
Yeah,
long
not
as
today.
So as long as you get those slides off at the right time, you should never see those enemies on the first screen move.
Yeah, flash stopper lasts 5 seconds, so it's not a really long freeze, but when you slide, the timer pauses, so if you can chain your slides together well, you should never ever see them move. Maz also forgetting to freeze the snail there in time, so he's going to actually have to kill it.
Killing it with Bright. Gets past the second one just fine, though.
Yeah. Ooh, struggling a little bit here at the end of Toad, but he should be fine if he can get into the boss room. There he goes. Nero going with the gravity strats, the most consistent strats here for the second half of Napalm for sure. There's crystal eye strats you can do as well, but they don't save a whole lot of time. So Maz takes Toad down, so he's off now to Mega Man 5. Nero really sort of extending that lead now in Mega Man 4 and 5. Or in Mega Man 3 and 4, I should say.
Yeah. I feel like 4, yeah, really grew the lead. 3, he gained 2 stages. Now he's 5 stages ahead. And of course, one of those stages, I guess it's only really still like 4.5 because the crystal warp is in the way.
Yeah, that's true. But it's going to appear sort of like that too, just because by the time Maz does get there, we'll probably see Nero through Wave, and Wave is a really long stage, so once we see Maz get to Wave, we'll probably see Nero pretty far into 6. It's kind of a weird, like, just base, like, you can't just base it on how many robots they're ahead, just because of the time differences in the stages. Maz is really low on health here, so he's been trying to just take this room really carefully. He is into the checkpoint room now, though, so hopefully he's okay.
Some of these jumps around these spike corners.
There is a large health refill here a little bit further in. If he can at least just get there, he should be okay health-wise. But he's really taking his time, killing a lot of these enemies. Oof, has to get by this walker. Okay, he's fine. Oof, these Mets giving him some issues. Alright. Get out of this stage, dude. Meanwhile, Nero just flying through Stone Man stage, setting up the long arrow room. Well, it's a good arrow placement. You can go a little lower, but that's It's a good one there.
Matt's having a little trouble with the Starman fight.
Yeah,
Just not trusting his health, really.
Yeah, you want to stay close because then you can fire through his shield, but then, yeah, if you're not comfortable with the fight very much, that can maybe appear to be scary, but he's got Star now in a really good loop.
Oh. Hanging in here.
Okay, he's gonna have to get to the other side.
He's through.
Yeah, he's fine.
Nero, meanwhile, into Stone Man. Easy fight, easy life.
Yeah, thankfully Stone is like the Toad Man of Mega Man 5. He's pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Mega Man 5 actually has a couple of really simple boss fights. You got Stone, you've got Gyro. You know, some fights where like the weapon like hits either the entire screen or the boss pattern is just really easy to deal with. Gravity's always the same. So it's kind of interesting. There's a lot less RNG in 5 as well, so a lot of time saves in 5 come down to execution over randomness.
There's lots of little execution points that are coming up here. Stuff that, you know, they don't make a huge difference, or they start adding up to a huge difference really over time. Just little extra hits here and there. Nice arrow from Nero. This screen was boring anyway.
Yeah, again, showing why Super Arrow is such a useful weapon. Nero's heading into his chicken room. The most fun room of the robots.
Do you know if he said anything before the race?
Don't think so.
Okay.
Accidentally overmashed there, so he got a... couldn't kill the rat as it was coming towards him.
Had
He
that
already had a
extra
crystal on the screen. Yeah. He gets a drop there, though, for Arrow, so it looks like he's going to be going for the arrow in the next screen. We'll see if he can get it. It's a 2-pixel window.
Ooh.
Close. Yeah, he's got it. I don't have a good eye yet for what it looks like when he gets it, so...
I don't have it either, but yeah, once you see him go over that first, I guess, ball launcher. But now we get to see the very best of weapons in this tournament. It's true the Hyper Bomb is probably worse, but you don't have as much fun with it.
Missing shots on charge is kind of a pain since you have to then do an extra pause.
Maz
getting a couple extra cycles there on gravity.
Yeah, up to where what would have been like the 9th hit of that fight if everything was connected. But he's through.
So one stage left in Mega Man 5 for Nero. It's a longer stage though. Got the long auto-scroller. Cab, please.
I know the product of my work is sometimes a little poor, but...
You're just dividing the chat.
Look, sometimes you have to make jokes for the lowest common denominator. Hey, how about Wave Man?
So we're into Wave. And Maz is into Gyro. Didn't quite get his setup right, so he's going to set that up again. Nero's got his bubble skip. Very nice. Setting up for the boat skip. And he's got that as well, so really good.
I want to say Mega Man's body surfing, but I guess he's really just kind of walking on the water.
Yeah. And to an even extra extent, he walked off the screen and then came back on, so he's invisible now. Removing Mega Man's sprite does reduce a little bit of lag, so in the beatless route, it's actually ideal to do that in both screens of the auto-scroller.
Maz using the arrow on the letter screen of gyro. I favored that for a little while myself. It's a kind of a nice, safe place to use the arrow. There's no real chance of missing it. It is still, that's a very easy screen to slide through, so you want to try and find one of the other screens to get that arrow off.
Yeah, like getting under the little stomper guys or whatever, dropper guys, can be a little scary, but as long as you
not even really
jump at the right time, it shouldn't be too bad.
For sliding, yes.
Yeah. But he is going to get to the boss room and get to fight Gyro, so better than taking a death, I guess, if he was worried about the slides or the enemies.
Nero almost up to the last Robot Master of Mega Man 5 NES.
Yeah, he's going to be heading to 6 here.
Plenty of health here for the wave fight. Good kill.
Yeah, it's hard to make the Wave Man fight much faster than that, because, I mean, you can't hit him when he jumps up in the air. You can get a couple early hits if you're fast enough. Minimal time save, really. So yeah, Nero is off to 6, the final game of this category.
Get to see those stop moving when you come out of a slide you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the movement in 6 always looks a little clunky, just based on you come to a complete stop out of a slide as opposed to continue your momentum. So once you start to chain your slides really well together, though, then the movement looks really smooth, just like any of the other ones. Maz gets his crystal warp set up, very nice.
Good job from Nero here. Some of these fans, when you want to go straight up, you want to land on the very lip of it so you can get another jump in. Not always the easiest thing to do. Save those few seconds here and there.
So you're noticing some of the clunkiness of Mega Man 6. In 6, you can't jump out of your slides, so the new sort of mechanic that you have to be careful of with your movement is making sure you cancel your slide before you do a jump if you're sliding like on a platform. And there's 2 different ways to do that. You can either turn the other direction, or if you're not holding down, you can press the A button, which is like you're trying to jump out of your slide, and instead of jumping, you'll just stop dead. So there are A cancels and turn cancels. A cancels are really good on like ice physics because you'll actually maintain your momentum a little bit due to the ice. But for the most part, it really will just come down to what the runners are more comfortable with. We see a lot of runners prefer A cancels. We see a lot of runners prefer turn cancels. The only time you really want to A cancel as a priority, like I said, is on ice. So Blizzard stage, you'll see mostly A cancels from everybody. But other than that, it'll come down to just whatever the runners want to do.
You could see Nero also, after that kill, he was already standing in the right corner of the room, started doing a bunch of small hops. Mega Man 6 is weird. I'm sure Chelny could explain it a little better than I can, but I know what he did reduce lag from the boss explosion.
Yeah, for whatever reason, jumping up against the right wall, or even walking up against it, it destroys some of the boss's death sprites, so it reduces a little bit of lag that way. So Flame stage, really, really fun stage to execute. See what Roland does for Nero here. He lets him by, very nice. Thanks, Roland.
Shouts to Roland.
Good guy, Roland. But yeah, this stage flows really nicely together. A lot of these slides and jumps and buster shots, the enemy placements are in really, really good locations, I think, so it makes the flow of the stage really fun. very few spots where you actually have to stop sliding to like avoid something. You can usually get a lot of slides in on all these platforms. Nero's taking a few of them out, but
looked away for a moment. I guess Maz fell into that first pit there.
yeah, Maz took a hit unfortunately and fell into the first one. So he's trying to bust through these turrets now.
Stopping to fight the very happy missile launcher here. I think it's still faster to use jet than to do that. He's gonna start fighting off the enemies in this stage. Nero, meanwhile, done with flame.
Yeah, it doesn't really get a good pattern, but thankfully the flame fight is a lot less of a pain with wind as opposed to busters. So
yeah. Buster shots get reflected away by the fire jets out of the ground. There is a flame first route, but fighting wind with Centaur really is the only kind of benefit you get from it. Fighting Flame Man with wind is just that much better.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, not really a big difference in how you would execute either stage.
Nero didn't quite get his jump out of his cancel, so he accidentally fired his buster shot without jumping up to hit the enemy. Maz struggling a little bit with this napalm fight also. Finally, napalm goes down. Nero gets the early swap to flame here.
Flame really the hero weapon of this game. Was it 4 damage to everything almost?
Yeah, it basically does 4 damage to almost every enemy in the game, so it's a very, very powerful weapon, which is why it's so early in the route. Jumping over the margarine pit and taking the first gap of shame on the boat.
Nero.
Ooh, having some issues getting off this bomb. He's gonna take the death. Yeah, he can't do anything. And he wastes the flame after, too. It's actually not good, because you want to save those, because you can still do that room again with flame and still have enough for Blizzard. So, if he runs out of flame now by 1, that's actually going to cost him. He also fired 1 too many on that first Sniper Joe turret guy, so he has enough, but he can't kill the squid mini-boss. He's going to have to deboost through him is all.
Will he go for bomb skip?
Nah, I don't think so. Electing to not even take damage off of the first bomb, so loses a little bit of frames there too. But shouldn't be too big of a deal at this point.
An immediate snowball, not what he really wants, especially with the missed shot in there. You see him kind of waiting to see what does Blizzard Man do before he fires more of these shots. Of course, he had exactly enough ammo.
He only got the 1 roll, so...
Maz, meanwhile, is arrow not quite in the best of spots, so he's going to try and make some stuff up to get through the end of Stone Man here.
All this extra lag, unfortunately. We've seen a lot of people quickly switch to gravity when they've missed that arrow and gotten rid of a lot of the enemies to reduce lag. But he's going to do that here instead. Not going for the jet strats.
Maz actually starting to get into hit point trouble here at the end of the stage.
Yeah, he should be okay. Thankfully, again, Stone is one of the easier fights, so hopefully he won't have any issues with the actual boss fight itself, but we'll see. We have seen people accidentally get bonked by Stone before.
If he uses Power Stone in an awkward spot, he's kind of throwing as many of these bombs at him as he can to try and get hits in.
Creating a lot of extra lag here, which actually makes the fight harder. Not timing his hits very well here. But he does survive, so...
Alright, Nero's on to the springs. It's kind of the clench mode of Mega Man 6, really. Unless you switch to Buster like he is.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think Nero does the platforms, so... This section should be pretty easy for him, pretty consistent.
Still, if you're gonna worry about a sub-pixel in this game, this is the screen. Not a problem for him, though.
Maz is actually just gonna set this arrow up a little bit later in the room.
Nero answering the question, streamer, when is 6 hit? He says right now. Maz is into the chicken room. And, he's let us know he's dedicating it to NME for organizing this awesome tournament. Good man. Shoutouts to NME. I don't know if he's watching. Nero moving into Tomahawk Man stage, using Flame Man's weapon, it really does just destroy everything. I kind of stand by a subtitle for this game needs to be Kill It With Fire, even if it is Flame.
Maz finishing the rest of that stage off a little bit differently, utilizing some of his other weapons. He is into the Charge Man fight.
Not pause canceling here, but not having a terrible fight otherwise.
And you see why we pause cancel, because you have to wait for those Power Stones to go off screen if you don't. So this fight goes way longer if you don't pause cancel. And it's less controllable, because by pausing, you can kind of keep a better feel on where Charge Man is and your position to him, so...
Tomahawk Man, really one of the more annoying fights in this game. You do have to get right up in his face to use the plant barrier. You have exactly enough ammo so you can't miss. And Mega Man 6 boss iframes notably last forever.
You got a really good pattern. You want Tomahawk to jump towards you. The time differences between the patterns are kind of minimal in this case, but the best pattern is Tomahawk jumping towards you. Second best would be the feathers, so you can slide underneath them. Worst pattern is the Tomahawk throw. Three stages to go. Yamato Knight and Centaur. Nero's on the home stretch.
Maz just kind of riding the bubbles up normally. Is going to use the arrow here to pick up a couple of seconds, since the arrow does just move that much faster. That little laser robot, the Mega Man 5 reference in Mega Man 6. For a long time, didn't realize you didn't have to shoot it in the gem like the Mega Man 5 variants.
Yeah, and with no iframes, he's a lot faster to die.
Oh, yeah.
Nero's into the door.
That feeling when your power flickers in the middle of the race. Yamato Man, not too bad. He really only has the 2 attacks. And you know he's not going to use one of them more than 2 times in a row, so it's not too bad to dodge everything he does. 7 tomahawks and you move on.
The skip is faster because you don't have to watch the animation right here. You can slide through this room. And you can also take Mega Man's sprite off the screen, which reduces a little bit of lag as well. So there's multiple reasons why it's better.
A little bit of lag, you get to slide in a couple of spots. Still only a few seconds in the end, not like a 10-second skip or anything like that.
Yeah, the bubble skip is the one that's the most important. Ooh, health is looking a little low.
Wave Man has done it. Gives me one more chance to use the phrase Mega Man 5 NES.
Nero, kind of scary. He was making his movement really choppy there, which makes that room a little awkward sometimes, but he is through the spike room. And Wave is down.
Wave is a deceptively dangerous boss for using his weakness on.
Nero goes for that really nice conveyor slide. It's a little tricky to pull off. It's also the scariest one in the run because that's the room right before the checkpoint, and that's pretty far from the beginning of the stage, so... Nero thought his spears were wrong, so he fired a couple there and then realized it was right.
Having a little trouble with the mad nerds here.
Still, yeah, even though his spears are right, he didn't quite get his second spear off in time, so the mad nerds having their way. Coming into the bouncy castle room now. Spiney's giving him some trouble too, so... Meanwhile, Maz is now into Mega Man 6. He's coming into the checkpoint room right now. Thankfully, Win stage is one of the easier ones, so...
Getting through here. Nero making short work of Nightman. The spears go right through his shield.
Getting a fairly decent pattern until the end there. You know, no jumps is what you want to see, ideally, from Knight, so...
He has one robot left. I know it's your favorite. Maz.
Nah, Flame is my favorite, but Centaur is a pretty fun stage too. Maz is through the stage. Thankfully, the Win boss fight is probably one of the easiest Buster fights in the game, so it just conveniently works out that he's also the best route. Nero gets the Metroid boost and the Miracle Jump. Very nice. It's a good start to this stage.
Man.
Going for the slightly new strats there of using Knight at the beginning.
I thought those were older strats at this point.
Not the early switch there. The strat for Knight was to switch in the water. The new strat is to switch before you kill the last pelican. And that allows you to get a little bit more slide distance in the first room. Going for the also new strat in the checkpoint. Very nice. Not very many people are doing that yet. I think only Potdot, myself, and I guess Nero's doing it now. I don't know of too many other people that have actually started to implement it yet.
I think I saw, I guess it might have been Colonel Fatso do that last night, or no, it was Papat yesterday.
Yeah, Patat did it fairly recently.
I was unfamiliar with it. I just kind of figured, record holders doing some improvisation. But hey, it's neat
It's
to
a
see.
little bit faster. Again, just getting a little bit more slide as opposed to
Centaur
jump.
Man. No idea if I'm in sync with.
Not with me. I don't know about the stream. So Nero coming into his final fight now with Centaur. So time for him will be coming up. See if he can squeak out the 145. He should be able to. Of course, I already know. Gets the good no teleport pattern, so RaceBot gives Nero a 144.59.
Cuts the 145.
And he is the winner of this race. So Nero will be moving on to race Darko Mega Magic in the quarterfinals of the tournament. Which will be a really interesting race. Darko, obviously a very, very talented Mega Man runner.
Not gonna lie, I think I mostly know Darko from the Mega Man 3 weeklies.
It'll be interesting because Darko and Nero are both already we're both already Mega Man runners before coming into this tournament. But neither one of them knew all 6 games. So Darko was very proficient in 3, 4, and I want to say that was it, actually. Maybe a little bit in 5, but not very much.
Yeah, I mean,
he picked up 1, 2, and 6, and I guess 5 really quickly. Just like Nero picking up a lot of the other ones as well.
You can kind of see anybody who's getting these mid to low 140s times. It's like really put a lot of effort into learning these games. There's a lot of people out there because I feel like most people who speedrun one Mega Man game have at least casually played through the other Mega Man games a lot.
Yeah.
You very rarely have somebody who plays and loves only one Mega Man game. So just to see everybody get really good into this low 140 range as opposed to kind of the low 2-hour, high 150s range, that's a lot of skill. I don't think there are any actual 1 through 10 tournaments, but there are categories on the leaderboard for it. You start getting into, though, that the category just starts getting so long, because even this is 2 hours. It's quite a bit of time. I want to say the 1 through 10 any percent record is 7 hours and change. Like seconds worth of change, not even a minute. Oh, Maz is making his way through Blizzard stage on the sub here.
Again, not going for the margarine pit slide. He is going to get the really... I don't know what you would call it. It's... What is butter after you leave it out for a week? Is it still butter?
I don't know. I don't eat that stuff. When is olive oil?
Oh, I don't know.
The name Butter, I believe, coming about for that slide just because whether it was Dark Terex or somebody else, I think it was somebody else and Terex ran with it, just said they got through that room and it was smooth like butter.
Yeah, Terex and Potdot definitely came up with that term. Saturated fat flop. Oh my god, that's something that will never be out of my brain.
The fat flop pit.
Like, I can't get it out now. It's in there.
Blizzard Man down for Maz. Only 6 left.
6? 5. 5, right?
Oh yeah, 5.
He started with win.
In my head, Blizzard Man is still second because I was casually again
first.
growing up. Flame Man was always first. Flame Man always first. And
I love this speedrun because it's actually my casual route, so it worked out really nicely that I always did win first when I played the game.
I don't think any of my casual routes have survived.
No, this one did for me. I never had a casual route in 5. Obviously not 4, not 3. Yeah, I guess this is the only one.
All my casual routes were the Nintendo Power routes, so it was Bomb first, Bubble first, Magnet first, kind of sort of survives.
Ooh.
Toad first, and Wave first, followed by Flame first. Got a Mega Man 5 reference from Eddie.
Yeah, that might be handy for him. Like, 1-ups are not overly frequent drops in this game, but it's also harder to... Well, I mean, there's some screens that are easy to die in, but overall, like, I feel like deaths are a little more rare in 6, unless you're trying to go for really crazy frame savings 1-ups. Like, he just got a drop there, but
yeah,
they're not common in 6 like they are in 4 and 5. They definitely adjusted the drop rate on them when they hit 6.
If you're talking about stages, I would say this is the stage you're going to need 1-ups in. Hopefully he doesn't. He just gets through the plant form section.
Yeah, these platforms at the end of plant are a little tricky, but I'm guessing he'll just open them up, which makes them pretty free.
Yeah.
Yeah, just taking his time here, opening these platforms up. Waiting for the fish. There's no real reason to rush it at this point. For him, I'm guessing his main goal here is just to try to finish strong. See if he can get a couple of gold splits to finish off the tournament. That would be sort of like what I would want to do, I think, if I was finishing off my race.
Yep.
Again, Maz had a pretty strong showing in this tournament, placing in the top 20 seeded runners, and then winning his first race in round 1 against Arc'teryx. So he did a really good job to get here, and it's just unfortunate that, you know, running up against somebody like Nero it's a pretty big wall to face. Yeah. So I think he did probably as well as he could have hoped, I'm sure, for starting out, because he's a pretty new runner to a lot of the Mega Man games. So excellent job and showing in this tournament by him.
Mm-hmm. Finishing up strong, just had a little trouble in the middle of all this with, I think, primarily Mega Man 4.
Yeah,
4 is not an easy game.
He had mishaps. No, he had a few mishaps there, yeah, for sure. But, you know, like, even despite his issues, like, it wasn't too crazy. So heading into Tomahawk, so 4 stages to go. Taking a little bit of extra time to mash some of these Coltons down. It's gonna delay his menu over to Flame. The Coltons have 6 HP, so you can take 6 Buster Shots to kill them, or 2 Flame Shots to kill them, because again, Flame does 4 damage, so it's a very strong weapon, killing these mini-bosses very quickly as well, so... Grabbing the ammo from Eddie there, I guess he was worried about running low. You typically use every single flame shot in this stage. An ideal stage, actually, for Tomahawk, you get a small ammo drop so that you have 1 extra flame, because you're usually 1 short if you go for every single kill and optimization.
Another one of those situations.
You can take one of those out, but you'll just cost yourself a tiny little bit of time is all.
It's always a question of where do you take the time lost.
Mm-hmm.
There's routes where you have to expect a drop, or you need a drop to complete it successfully are always kind of interesting because you must have that backup strat then of what if I don't get the drop.
Yeah, exactly. Playing it extra safe in this last room, jumping over the spikes. It's coming into his tomahawk fight now.
Good fight to start.
Yeah, priority here is just to not accidentally fire a shot into iframes, and he does a good job to avoid that, so yeah, decent fight.
Tomahawk Man, I'd say probably the hardest boss in this game as far as surviving goes.
Especially to Buster, yeah. Like, in Mega Man 5 and 6, you lose your charge when you take damage, so trying to get your charge and avoid taking hits to get your hits in on a Buster fight in this one is a little tricky. He can be kind of a jerk and give you those little tiny jumps where he jumps into you constantly, and that's pretty frustrating.
Especially with all the long iframes, hitting him with lemons not really a good solution either. Off to Yamato Man stage. The Robot Master without a song.
Yeah, this first screen is a little tricky, but the rest of the stage is pretty forgiving, to be honest. Yamato's stage is definitely the easiest stage of the 8 robots, and the boss fight is also kind of a nice, easier fight, so there's not a whole lot that can go wrong in Yamato, thankfully. Maz is just taking a little bit extra time to try to avoid some of the damage there. There's that walker that you mentioned again from Mega Man 5.
Mega Man 5 NES reference.
Mash him in the shins, and he goes down pretty fast.
Sweep the leg.
Yeah.
Maz thinking about jumping and remembering he needs to use Jet here.
Yeah, the only time we're going to see an alternate path here, where you would normally go to get the beat letters. Unfortunately, in 6, beat is pretty bad. He's worse in 6 than he is in 5, so...
Yeah, he's really bad in 6.
Thanks, Nero. I love that. That image is so good.
That's like me watching some of the top level runs. Yeah, that makes sense.
So see how his Yamato fight goes. Opens with a jump that's not really ideal. Yamato can give you a really good pattern where you can kind of keep him in iframes for the whole fight, but it's a little tricky. Maz handles the fight fairly well.
See, it just
trying to show the JRTA thing. Golden had a question. Is anime real? Oh, he's pointing out Fasta. Name calling. Here we go. What did Fasta say for his anime real?
I don't know.
Was it no? Was it no?
Oh, I see Prissy in here too, though. Fasta Prissy is not real. Is that what we're going for? Maz, meanwhile, waiting for the spike ceiling to get out of his way, not going to go for the skip here. That jump, not the easiest of jumps, although you do have a level of control over your Mega Man 6 jump height. Nobody ran into the spike wall, click spark. The ceiling, though, the ceiling was dodged.
All these callouts, dude. Maz is actually choosing to use Flame here. It's not a normal strat, but Flame, again, being very powerful, makes killing these enemies pretty easy, and he saves some of the spear for later.
Yep. It's really the screen you're going to use the most spears on. After that, it's really just the 4 shots on the Mad Nerds here. Granted, it can be a little tricky to get those shots off in Flame, just with that arc going down can be a lot easier to hit things below you with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what Fast is going for with that 90-degree shift in our thinking, but I guess he means we're right.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Mm.
90 degrees is pretty hot, though. Celsius, that is.
Oh man, that's really hot. It's getting steamy.
So Knight giving him a couple jumps here. Not too terrible of a pattern, though, to be honest. A couple shorter jumps, so they're not too terrible.
It was a really quick fight, so that's
One
good.
stage to go. Yeah, yeah.
Alright, one more Robot Master to go.
Yeah, just into centaur stage. He just has to bring it home. Finish off this run.
Centaurman, Centaurman, Centaurman.
Into the water room. Is he going to switch tonight? Nope, he's going to Buster this room. So a little different strats than you saw Nero do.
Buster in this
pretty
room
close to the same.
it's not that bad at all.
No. In fact, when this room is done with Buster, it looks really good, I think. I like the Buster strats much more than the Knight strats. I think they're a little bit easier for myself, personally. It's what I'm most comfortable with, because I used to Buster that room when I played the game casually, too, so... Waiting for this water to come back down. Makes his jump.
Yeah, it's just with a couple of screens left. Is going to switch to Knight for the end here. The Cloud subs are a little scary at first. It's easy to kill them with the Knight Crush, though. I think the big thing I learned about speedrunning in this game is that the Knight weapon can be fired diagonally.
Yep, up and down, so... There's a lot of different ways you can use it. Waiting for the Metroids. So he should be home free now. There's nothing really to get in his way. Like I said, Centaur is a pretty easy fight. He can't deal very much damage to you at all, so... We should be seeing time very shortly here.
Let's see if he can cut the 201. Should be able
definitely.
to.
Definitely. Even with the absolute worst Centaur fight, he should cut it. At least on his splits. It says... Wait, what's going on here?
The very bottom, he has
start-
a 2 hour 27 second time.
Did he start his timer late?
Did he?
Is that what happened? Because RaceBot says 2 hours,
Oh,
2
two.
minutes, and 48 seconds.
Maybe he did start it late.
But his split timer on his stream says 2 hour flat and 27 seconds. So it's like 2.5, almost 2 and a bit shorter.
Weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe he started his splits late.
Happens.
It does, it does. So yeah, congrats again to Nero on moving on to the quarterfinals. Thanks again to Mazimov for participating in this tournament. He did a really good job again. Not knowing, all these games, you got to learn a lot of robots in a short span of time. And getting through into the top 20, like we said, and even winning his first race against Dark Terex, so who was a pretty good Mega Man runner in his own right. So, Maz did a really great job of showing up and representing Canada in this tournament. I think it's the only couple Canadians left now is Fatso and Darko, I guess.
Oh, Canada.
Yep. Go Canada. You got this, boys, I believe.
Sorry?
I said, you got this, boys, I believe. All right, so that's the last, not the last race of the day. Coming up fairly shortly, I believe, is the Tiny 10. I think it was supposed to start here like right away, right? I believe.
Yeah, it's scheduled to start 4 minutes ago. They're waiting in the race room right now. If you like the Big 20 NES game races, this is kind of the Game Boy equivalent, the Tiny 10.
Yeah, so it's 10 Game Boy games. If you definitely like Game Boy, check that out. It's starting right away. And I just want to mention that there is another 46 Robot Master Tournament starting later tonight at 9 p.m. EST. That'll be Fast at CC versus Toad 22484. So check that race out. That one will be, the winner will go to play race Colonel Fatso in the quarterfinals.
The Colonel's finals.
Yeah. So definitely check that one out. And I guess that's it for us. So enjoy the Game Boy if you guys stick around.
We got Banishing Racer, Ultraman Ball, Miracle Adventure of E-Sparks, Batman Game Boy, Tetris Attack Game Boy, Mickey's Dangerous Chase, Tailspin, Tiny Toons Bab's Big Break, Chalvo 55, and Pokemon Blue looks like it's the closer. So stick around.